Most of the student loans, in my opinion, should not be granted. Especially for the wrong degrees. If you know you're gonna come out and the job prospect for that degree, like psychology, musician, I think those are reserved exclusively for rich people. If they, they learn everything from life, they're going to college just to party and then they have a good time, and their parents have the money to pay for it. Go ahead, they should not be loaned money to go in that degree, because when they come out, they're not going to find a job. All right, guys, welcome back to Common Sense. I'm Dave. Today we're watching student loan crisis in America. It's been one of the biggest issue plaguing U.S. for quite some time, and today we're going to give it our perspective as a Chinese immigrant coming to the United States.
The Joe Rogan experience.
We tell everybody you're a finance guy, and did you start out in debt and then figured out how to get your shit together?
Yeah, exactly. I was in college doing all the stupid American things, right? So you got that unlimited student loan debt for a bullshit degree. I was going for music composition, so complete bullshit degree.
Music composition. Wow.
Maxing out every credit card. One of the first pieces of financial advice I got at 18 from the parents, max out a credit card to get the piano I wanted. So that's smart.
Your parents.
Yeah, it's just the average American experience. You just max out a credit card. I don't know if your parents taught you anything about personal finances, but most don't. It's bad. So I was just maxing out.
Well, that's the same thing as China. We don't even have, our parents never knew any finances. In fact, most adults in China still don't understand any finances because the stock market is not as stable as here. So I think financial literacy is just really difficult for most of the families. And then it should, if a college requires students to learn bullshit classes, like literature, I think they should literally require students to learn personal finances. I think it's required. Taxation, basic taxes, investment, how you split your money, how you treat your income, that kind of stuff.
Every credit card, like everyone that comes on the show, like every American out there, we got $1.6 trillion in credit card debt in this country, by the way.
Yep.
Crazy amount. Defaults are to 7%, which is insane. 7% of credit cards defaulting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is really nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How can you default on a credit card, by the way? If you owe so much money, can you just say, fuck it, I'm not going to pay for it? Then who picks up the check? Because at the end of the day, nothing's free. Who picks it up?
A 10 default.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But we have more auto loan debt in this country than credit cards too.
Really?
Which is even crazier because Americans, they're big pickup trucks and everything. But either way, I was doing that. Got my Nissan Altima and, thinking I was sick driving around and going into debt for that, family debt, everything. It was brutal, but it was the average American life. That's what people are going through every single day.
Yeah, the debt to income ratio in America is probably the highest among the world. That's why I say when Trump first got in office for the second term, he constantly saying American market is probably the most valuable. And if you look around, it's yes and no. Yes, in a way, American spending is really, really high. No, a lot of it, in a sense, a lot of the spending are irresponsible. Look at how much debt, 1.6 trillion. That's almost Elon Musk's net worth. Credit card debt. People just spending that much money without paying it back. And somebody is allowing the minimum payment thing to continue. That should be illegal. That should be banned, by the way, to not allow minimum payment. It should just be full payment. If you can't pay for it, then you get banned from ever getting a credit card. That's literally how it's supposed to work.
And I finally got a wake-up call. I was sitting in my shitty apartment that I could barely afford, and I realized the life I wanted to live just could not be sustained this way. I wanted to be a homeowner. It's the American dream, pick a fence, all that shit.
Yeah.
But there's no way to do it with maxed out credit cards, private student loans, public student loans, everything. It was a mess. So got a sales job, just started grinding it out, paying off the debt, fully funded emergency fund. And that's what I try to teach people now. But, again, the average American is kind of an idiot with money, which is fair.
Well, they're not
It's our
informed, which is one of the things I think your content really helps, because a lot of people don't know what to do.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do until much later, until I graduated and worked for 3 years. And I wasted, I would say, 3 years of my life. When I was in college, I was doing a business on the side, small business. And it was I literally wasted 3 years doing that business that wasn't generating any income at all. Zero. I was trying to learn some social skills. I guess, yeah, I don't think it helped that much. But basically, nobody teach you, which is such a sad thing, right? And it's not required by any curriculum to learn personal finances. So if anything, that should be required by like law.
Like you're in debt. Like, how the fuck do I get out of this? And a lot of people they know are in debt, so they don't have good advice. They're not getting it from their parents, right? So they have to turn to somebody. And a lot of times, like financial people online are very stiff, and they're not enjoyable to listen to. But you talk shit, and you're.
You know what's interesting? Like the Chinese understanding, like financial literacy, is very, very low too. A lot of the Chinese young graduates from school, college, the only sort of investment, the only way of investing is probably just real estate, because the stock market is so unstable, right, in China, and then the mutual fund over there is also, the return is really low. Like when I was in China, my friend who asked me like, "Oh, what's your average annual return or whatever?" In America was an index fund like Vanguard 500 or SP 500. It's about like 11.3%, right? The past few years, we've been getting average about 13 something percent, and that's about average of what you're getting with those. But in China, you're getting a return of 3 to 4%, and that's considered good. Imagine inflation. I don't think it's even catch up to inflation. It's just like there's not too many ways of investing. So this is more than just an American phenomenon. I think it's global, where financial literacy is really difficult. That's why I started my channel on the Foreign Famous Finance. Make sure to go check it out, because we're learning, studying together. I just finished the book, The Psychology of Reading, Psychology of Money, sorry. And I use a new reading out loud technique. It's really good. So I'm gonna do a summary on this book, what I learned, and how I'm gonna implement it on a new channel. But most of the stuff it's talking about, I'm already doing, because luckily I studied quite a bit of finance books in my mid-20s, right? So I wish somebody told me earlier. If I knew what I knew now when I was in college, I could have literally doubled my money at this point.
Very vocal, and it's like, okay, I get this guy. I can relate to him.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do. So there's a lot of folks out there that connect with you because of that, I think.
Yeah, they call us the Jerry Springer of finance,
Uh,
which I like. I take it. I take the ownership. They meant it as a dig at first, but I take it because it's fun.
Yeah.
People don't go into financial topics because it's boring. Why are you clicking on a video of a dude just like sitting at the camera, just like, IRAs or this? No one's gonna get into that.
Right.
Personal finance class, like 40% of states, which is almost 40 states out of the 50 states, require a personal finance class now, which is big progress over the last decade.
Really? Really? Is it required in Texas? I wasn't aware of that. When was this ever required? Here, this sounds a little bit odd. I don't know if Texas ever. When I was in school, it wasn't like requested. Let me ask Rock. Here, hold on. Is personal finance class required in UT Austin? Let's ask Grok and see what Grok says. It's still searching the web, by the way.
No, a personal finance class is not required at UT Austin. It's not part of the core curriculum that all undergrads must complete. That's the standard 42-hour set covering things like government, history, math, sciences, and social behavioral sciences.
You know what? He's lying, right? Like, what do you mean? It's not even offered in Texas. If it's not offered in Texas, I don't believe anybody is offering it, I'm just kidding, but yeah, it just says it's not offered in UT Austin.
But, I was a piece of shit in high school. I'm sleeping through that class.
Right.
I'm not gonna listen to things there. I could barely pass math. School is just boring. So people still aren't gonna pick it up there. They want something a little more.
Not if you make it required, then people are gonna learn from it, because that's actually really important, and also immediately implementable. I could implement, because I actually had extra money when I was in college. Like as an international, I came in as an international student. I paid international student tuition, which is about 40 to 50K a year. A lot of money, right? Like if you in-state for UT Austin, I think the tuition was like 10 or something less. But we pay like multiple, right? So what happened is I had extra money because I thought at the time that I needed extra money for food. So my family was generous enough to give me some extra money for food. But it turned out like those food money was extra. I didn't invest it. It just sit in the bank, devalued. I could have bought Bitcoin, right? Which is worth a penny at a time, and I could be a multi-trillionaire at this point. I could have bought a bunch of stuff or just invest in Vanguard, but I didn't do any of it. If somebody told me about compounding at a time, I would have done it then, right? But nobody taught me anything. So I think personal finance, if I learn about it, I would use it right away. Even if you're broke in college, I was, right? Because I couldn't just use the money randomly. You would still leverage the amount of money you have to invest, like little bit of money. Because people don't understand is they thought you have to have a lot of money to make money. But actually, with the power of compounding and how everything works, if you just work at McDonald's or Walmart for 40 years as a full-time employee, and you just invest principally, like you invest monthly, routinely, dollar cost averaging, you will come out, retire multi-millionaire, right? And you will have a decent, really, really graceful retirement. You don't even need Social Security to pay for your retirement. You could have so much money like every month. But that's not taught, And then the thing about compounding is it's all about time. The earlier you invest, the better. And then we're just never taught that, So
interesting to get into, and we give them that with the roasts, the dramas, the relationship stuff. Couples episodes are my favorite because there's always financial stresses in relationship, and I don't know if that actually gets people into personal finances. That's the best. That's the best.
You know what? I just want to make a side comment before I continue. Like regarding couple finances, my mom always taught me to give everything I have to my wife, and I did. And we have a happy marriage. We never have this issue because everything we own, we do it together. This saves you so much trouble. If you have found a good woman, I would recommend the same. I think that's such a good advice. Have your women manage your household where you focus on career development, all that kind of stuff, off the family, right? Off the household. And she focuses on, internal of the household. And she does a great job with it. So I would highly recommend you do the same. But that's I don't know how many Chinese people are doing that, but my mom taught me that growing up. Like ever since a young kid, I've always been taught, when you get married, trust your wife with money, but be smart about it, Make sure she's a good woman. And I have a good woman, so.
Because we get millions of views per episode on all platforms.
It's kind of a crime that they're not explaining to people when they're young and in high school how this could be a problem. Mm-hmm. They're trying to set you up for life, but they're not setting you up for one of the biggest problems that most people face. Credit card debt and the big one, student loan debt, because that's the one you can't get away from. Mm-mm. And there's a lot of people that are just go, well, I guess I have to go to college. And look, higher education's great. It's good to be educated. It's good to get an education. Yeah. But if you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for an education that you aren't going to use at all, that might not be the best thing for you. And
that's such a good point. And I also wish this become more common sense. Like as a Chinese community is largely brainwashed. You have to get a college degree. Everyone in China has a freaking college degree. In fact, just having a bachelor is considered a disgrace right now to the family. It's a shame. I don't know why. Because literally it's useless. Like I think a huge chunk of the bachelor degree graduates in China are not finding jobs. I just went back to visit my middle school teacher, and then 2 years ago, and he told me he's worried about his kid finding a job. His kid is in middle school right now, and it was like, it's totally understandable, right? It's because it's pointless unless for higher education, in my opinion. Unless you know what you want to study, you should not go. It's called higher education for a reason. It's supposed to only elevate what you want to do in life, And most of the student loans, in my opinion, should not be granted. Especially for the wrong degrees. If you know you're gonna come out and the job prospect for that degree, like psychology, musician. I think those are reserved exclusively for rich people. If they, they learn everything from life, they're going to college just to party and then they have a good time, and their parents have the money to pay for it. Go ahead, they should not be loaned money to go in that degree because when they come out, they're not going to find a job, and that's the reality today, right? That's reality in China too. But most of the Chinese kids that we know are all in STEM, right? Science, technology, mathematics, and engineering. And those are degrees that find jobs. Like right now, if you're not studying AI when you're in school, like what are you doing?
When you're fucking 18, you really don't know. You know,
Yeah.
you don't know what you want to do.
Your
you know,
parents don't know anything either.
no, they might be retarded. You might have idiot parents.
They should go work.
No, the average parent in America is go to any college to get any degree and borrow whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Because college is the answer to all.
Because it used to be.
Yeah.
There used to be the way that you got a good paying job. You get out of college and, hey, you've got a degree. Oh, you got your master's. Well, you're, where are you going to live? Where are you going to buy a house? Like, you're going to be set. What they don't tell you is that you are going to be saddled down with insane amounts of debt, and then that debt compounds. It keeps going. So, like, I was reading this thing. I mean, you can tell me about what the actual numbers are, but they were talking about the average actual debt that you owed, but what you wind up paying, what you actually wind up paying over the 20 years that it takes you to pay it off.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, the minimum payment thing is so criminal. It should be completely illegal and banned. That's how like I never really truly understood, like for the longest time, how credit card company makes money. And then they said they have a profit margin of 30-something%. I was like, bro, like how? They take a 2% or 1% fee from the merchant when we buy stuff, right? Or like a few percentage, depends. Like how do they make 30%? And then it turned out they make most amount of money from interest. I was like, who's giving this company, multi-trillion-dollar company, interest? Don't you just pay it off? Because that's what we always have been doing. Like the biggest difference, I would say, the Chinese community in general, compared to American, is we don't have the concept of owing money. You know, like it's always you buy only what you have the capability of buying. If you don't have the money, you don't buy shit, nothing, right? And there are a few bad apples out there who's like maxing out credit cards and changing names, which is totally illegal, right? But it happens, by the way. Like we know a real case. I'm not gonna name names, but there are a few bad apples out there. However, majority of the people live under their means, right? They understand they don't have the money to spend and just don't spend. You know, like that's literally how we have always been, whether there's credit card or not. But American credit card issue is such an interesting issue. I don't understand. Like you don't even have to be taught on this. I think it's just like so many dysfunctional families, you know? And there's no one teaching them anything. They just get tricked when they're young. Like, you're telling me I can spend zero money down to buy this iPhone and then not paying like $20 back, you know, because that's the minimum required, right? You're telling me I can do that? Oh, it's a deal. Everyone here has an expensive ass iPhone, which I don't understand. Like, how are the young kids afford iPhones? Every single one of them. Like you go to UT Austin, which is like one of the richest schools. Everyone has the latest version of iPhone, right? I mean, everyone's extreme, but you get the sentiment. You get what I mean. Everyone has the latest version of iPhone. Everyone has the latest version of MacBook Pro. I just don't understand. Like, I was so poor when I was in school, right? I look at the computer. I was like, yo, this computer, Alienware computer, $3,000. MacBook, $2,500. Like, how do you... And I see everybody have it. And I'm not the only guy who buy like a shit-ass computer. Eventually, I got a good computer. I got an Alienware computer, but it turned out to be a shit computer anyways. So I never bought an Alienware computer again. The idea was, I just don't know how people spend money. Now I know. That's why the American debt, like credit card debt, is $1.6 trillion.
It's substantially higher than the initial loan.
Part of it is laziness too. People get on like that 20-year payment plan or 40-year payment plan because they want to spend a little bit, you know, just a little bit less right now. Because, I mean, it makes sense. You get out of college, you want to get an apartment, you want to live it up, you want to go on nice dates and trips, all that good stuff. So you do the little minimum monthly payment. But, I mean, think about it. I assume you have a mortgage, right? Do you have a mortgage?
Yeah.
Okay. If you took that 30-year mortgage, but you're like, okay, I want to pay a smaller amount now, so let's stretch it to 60 years. The interest and overall payment you're going to do is insane.
Right.
So the student loan, a public student loan, it's actually a 10-year payment. That's the standard. It's a 10-year payment. You'll be done in 10. But people stretch it to 20 years. The repayment assistance under Trump, the RAP plan, that can be as little as 1% of your income on a monthly basis. That'll never be paid off.
No.
Dude, that's crazy. And on top, but see, it is situational because like now if you understand the investment opportunities that you have, sometimes getting in debt actually makes sense. That's right now, like if you buy a house, the way how it appreciates, especially like, you know, it's so slow for the last few years, how Austin real estate market has actually been declining. If you buy a house or you try to pay off student loans right away, you are better off invest that money into the stock market and you will have much better return coming back and just use some of the money to pay off your student loan consistently. The the core idea is you have to look into the opportunities accessible to you and see, okay, I have this much cash. Do I pay off the debt, or do I use the money to generate more money, right? Or how confident are you that money will generate more money? If you're not very confident, it's better to pay off the debt, but it's case by case scenario. So, and this is not financial advice, by the way. I'm just listening.
Those people will have it forever.
Forever.
It'll be forgiven in 40 years, it says. We'll see, because, it's new. But when people are doing that, they're going to have it forever. It's going to balloon, and then they're going to complain about it when they chose not to just take the standard 10-year plan.
I saw an article about people with Social Security. So they're retired, and their Social Security money is getting docked. Mm-hmm. It's getting docked because they're taking money out of that to pay for your student loans.
Yeah.
Damn.
That obviously didn't work out for you because you're literally in debt from that student loan while you're retired from life.
Yeah.
Which is fucking wild.
It is, but I'll be candid. I'm starting to not have sympathy for the boomers.
You're retired and still paying student loan? Oh my God. Yeah, those kind of people those are people are the reason why we're financially illiterate, to be honest, Like my wife wasn't educated financially, I wasn't educated financially. But I think they did their best. Hammer here said like he blamed the boomers. I don't, right? Like it's just we're not educated. Like most people are not. And it's not their fault in a lot of ways. Like everybody have different cases. No one's crazy. No one doesn't want to get rich, right? People don't know what they don't know. Like it's easy to be in a very lucky and privileged position to criticize other people who are not so lucky and privileged.
I'm really not.
Really?
Best job market ever, best stock market in the history of the world. Every single boomer, Gen X, whatever, that's been on my show, they lived it up and spent all their money to live the lifestyle they wanted, and they didn't even set 10% aside a month. 10% aside. They had the best housing market, college, jobs. They were set up for everything. If they just put 5 to 10% a month aside in the stock market that they had, they would be multimillionaires. Most of them would be multimillionaires.
That is true. So that is so true. But again, people are in different position in life, right? So it's easy to say this, but people just don't know. And then I certainly didn't know. We got lucky that I get to know. I was reading books. If I wasn't reading books, I would never know. So and also, I mean, it's very true that boomers did have it really easy. To deny that is just like not sincere, right? Because if you read all the financial books, the income inequality was at its lowest in the 1980s. Like it's really low. What you had, what rich people had, every American had. They use the same toilet, same everything, pretty much the same amount of car. It's just like, rich people probably drove a Cadillac, and then the regular American drove a Chevy. That's it, right? Like all the other communication or telecommunication, whatever, everybody used the same, But now income inequality is at its all-time high, right? Like literally, the harder you work, a lot of times you feel like the further you get behind. So people just don't work and get subsidies from the government, which is really sad. That shouldn't be allowed, by the way, but that's what it is.
But instead, we're in a situation where
I want a new BMW.
Yeah, they can't pay their student loans, Social Security,
Yeah.
2033. That's when the funds dry, so payments get cut by
Is it really that
25%. Yeah.
2033 is when the funds dry up for Social Security?
Yeah, the actual fund that's sitting there. So every dollar that goes out is money that's coming in. That's projected 2033.
Well, we have to pay for transgender migrants. It's really important. Some of them have back pain. They need to be on Social Security forever.
Yeah, we just had a clip go viral 2 days ago. Transgender woman, Colorado.
I saw the video.
Yeah, taxpayer-funded boobs. So that's nice.
That's insane. That's insane to me. America is such an insane country. Nobody understands this, by the way. This is why this is why nobody wants to pay taxes, right? Like, why are we paying for this? And then the thing is, it's really easy for rich people to say, I want to pay more taxes, patriotic, all that kind of stuff. Bro, it doesn't matter if they take $100 million off Jensen Huang. He still owns billions, right? But it matters to me if $10,000 is taken away from me. And a lot of it's being taken away. So it's so weird that we are subsidizing this. Why? Like, we don't even have money. The country is $39 trillion in debt. And then all the social programs, I can totally understand the initial, where it all started. But it just feels like the country don't understand that we don't have the money to spend. When you don't have the money to spend, you can't just like keep on printing, and it doesn't make the country wealthier. It just dilute the money. And then people just keep on spending the money they don't have. A country, US is basically one person on a national scale that's also financially literate. Oh, you're saying I can just print money? All right, let me just do that, And the politicians take advantage of that. Okay, well, they can print as much as they want. So why don't we just go ahead and fund everybody's boob jobs? Like, geez, I mean, also helping other nations. Like not too long ago, I think a few days ago when Bernie Sanders had a tweet blaming Elon Musk for becoming the first trillionaire and saying like Doge took away the money that was supposed to be sent to like some poor countries. Bro, I understand you want to help. How about you sell all your assets and help, and leave the taxpayer money alone? How about that? Right? Like it's not your money. And then I really want the money that we're sending to the government to actually help the people here, to help the roads here, right?
The way you explained it, or the way she explained it, was hilarious. Like something about how her body's priceless. So, like, how much do they cost? They're free.
Yeah, I can't blame her though. I mean, the program's there, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So I'd take it if I wanted some new tits.
Of course.
But it's crazy that we are, and of course, when we filmed it was like 2 days after I wrote a $4 million, income tax check, whatever, to the federal government.
Right, and you're thinking about this, like, where's that money go?
It's going to tits, not funding proper Social Security.
Well, we were talking before about how Gavin Newsom wouldn't do your podcast.
Yes.
But it's probably because, like, that kind of debt, when you think about, like, California's debt and California's spending and the waste and potential fraud, I look at it like
it's an actual
garbage
fraud
dump. Like someone saying, hey, go look into that garbage dump and clean it up. I'm like, oh, it's too much. And I think that's how most people look at it. They look at it like, what, 24 billion is missing for the homeless? How much money went to that rail? That fucking high-speed rail? Like,
the fact that nobody went to jail for this has the entire Chinese community outraged, to be honest. Like, if this happened, by the way, for a national project like this that happened, like, that just spent billions of dollars and not a single mile of track was laid, he would be executed in China. The governor of California, he would actually just be executed. This is betrayal to the country. But yet in America, he's praised and he's running for the presidency. It's so bizarre, bro. It's so bizarre. Like, and I remember watching a podcast one time, and they were like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this. Like, it's like propaganda." It's not. Where'd the money go? Return the money, then we'll say it's not a propaganda. You spend all this money, not a single track was laid. It's your project. You're the governor. It's under your stewardship. People keep on voting for this. That's literally what Socrates worried about. Demagoguery, right? Like people who are sweet talker, who are good looking, because Gavin Newsom is actually a really good looking person. Tall, handsome, right? Good hair. Like girls line up behind him. I mean, like, that's so sad. You vote the most incompetent, like, duck, right? Basically, male prostitute into governor office and just defraud the American taxpayer. It is so criminal. Like, looking outside is such a joke, it's such a joke. Like, every single Chinese person, by the way, is laughing about the California situation. And he thought people like him. Nobody likes him. He's a joke in China. He's a joke here. And then, like, literally, nobody knows him, actually. Just like the few people actually do know. Like, he's a joke. The money that's collected in the state, and then he's not going to jail permanently, is just insane to me. He should be.
Billions of dollars later, there's nothing done. Like, what are you doing?
Which is insane because America, the leader of the world, should have incredible high-speed rail.
Yeah.
I want it. I want to go to Dallas, Houston in a couple hours on a high-speed rail. Maybe Texas could do it, but just give California anything and they'll find a way to mess it up and lose all the money.
Well, this is like, the rail one is crazy because, like, nothing's, but how much have they spent on the high-speed rail so far? It's something bonkers. It's
billions.
Like some insane amount of money, and nothing's been done. And there's this guy on YouTube. Do you remember the guy on YouTube, Jamie? He's on Instagram, rather. The guy was on Instagram who says in the same amount of time that it took California to not do that, this is what China's done. And it just over and over and over again.
Yep.
All the miles of high-speed rail they put in, all the this, all of that, all like for the same amount of money that California spent, this is what could have been done. And it's
crazy.
Fuck.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, literally, it's always comparison versus California because he's literally a joke. He's a big fat clown, and then see the thing about the governor's clownship is reflecting on the broader image of America, right? Because everybody in China understand, like in America, any dumbass can be a governor, right? So I guess you give us, every single one of us, like inspiration. Oh, you can just go to America and get rich. See, what fundamental is, if somebody's evil, they're evil. They're always going to be evil. If you expect someone to change, like look at the LA mayor race, right? Kevin Bass, she has been in office for 2 years or something like that. And then now they defrauded Spencer Pratt off the race. She's like, oh, guys, I'm going to fix the homeless issue. What have you done in the past 2 years? Like, literally, you tell me that she got duly elected. It's just 100% unbelievable. It's 100% corrupt, right? You cannot look at that and be like, yo, yeah, people love that shit. California's citizens are just like in love with it. They love keep on paying taxes and keep on getting people on the street, right? Urines everywhere, piss everywhere, tents everywhere, zombies everywhere. Yeah, that's such a good thing to do. Like, you can't tell me that. Any person with common sense wouldn't want that, right? But yeah, she keep on getting voted in. So, and you tell me there's no fraud.
Nuts.
Brightline's private.
Spent an order of mid-teens of billions. Mid-teens so far on the high-speed rail, roughly around $14 to $16 billion as of the mid-2020s. How much of it is done, Jamie?
14 to
How much of that
16
rail's
billion.
done?
Well, some of it is actually getting close to done, I think.
Oh my God, amazing.
To what? Bakersfield to
14 to 16 billion dollars. I can't even.
How much is completed?
I can't even understand that money. Jeez.
14 feet. Very little.
119 miles are under active construction.
Oh, 119 miles. Madeira, near Baker.
Imagine just owning 1 billion. This guy's 14 billion dollars. Oh my God.
Bakersfield are under active.
By the way, when I was a kid, my dad always told me, you got to do government project. That's where the money is. It's same in China, same in America. Because there's so much fraud everywhere, right? Because if you do government project, the thing is they have an unlimited budget. And it's all how much corruption there is, right? How much money you willing to give the upper guy. That's basically, and see, the thing is, like, every time when I listen to podcasters, like people here on YouTube or on the internet or on TV talking shit about China, oh, look at Chinese corruption, fraud. I was like, bro, look yourself in the fucking mirror. You know, like, shut the hell up, right? Because it's everywhere. Like, if you have any perspective coming from a different country, you understand this is not just a single country issue. Doesn't matter if it's Cuba, China, whatever. It's everywhere. America is probably worse, arguably, because there's so much money being washed. In China, people found defrauding money. Or let's not even say defrauding. Just like give you this much money and you can't even get the project done, you're executed. And people will applaud for that, right? But here, you can defraud as much as you want and nobody's going to go to jail. End of the day, some really low-level scapegoat, the lady in Minnesota, will go to jail, right? Like everybody else, the governor is going to go back and drink his $1,000 champagnes or red wine or whatever, right? Smoke a cigar and everything's fine. Like it's like when you listen to this, people talking shit about Chinese corruption, bro. Literally, let's fix American corruption first because I'm an American citizen. You know, like it's such a joke. It's everywhere, and if anything, again, America's worse in corruption. It's just like regular citizens are not really. It's just no one's being punished.
Of construction. What a great way to spend $14 billion. I bet the homeless people are pissed. You could have spent that money on us.
And then once it's done, you'll get on the train. You'll have fare evaders, people that just jumped over that are doing drugs on the train.
Check this out, I asked.
Yeah.
If you were 25 in 1990, you made an average U.S. salary for 40 years, saving 5 to 10% per month in the S&P 500, how much would they have now? They would have around $2 to $5 million, depending on exact assumptions.
Starting with $21,000 salary.
That's
Shit.
insane. Like,
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying, right? Compounding. But again, we're not taught this. The thing is, the earlier you start, the better. So, like, you know, recently not recently, but not too long ago, Trump was talking about giving every kid newborn in America $2,000 like starting fund. And then there were a lot of complaint about that money being very little. But how I see it is that money was not supposed to be spent. It's meant to be invested for the kid's future. If you invest $2,000 and then when the kid is 20, with 20-year compounding, just with any Vanguard 500 fund, that $2,000 will turn to a substantial amount of money, right? I mean, obviously, I'm not calculating here, but you get the idea. If you just use any compound interest calculator and use a standard rate about 10%, which is how US markets performed in the past 50 years on average, you're going to get a substantial amount of money. If the kid doesn't spend the money then for college and whatnot, right? And keep on have the money keep on compounding for another 30, 40 years until the kid is 60. Bro, just that $2,000, I'm pretty sure that will turn the kid a multimillionaire. Like that's how compounding works. But it's a concept I didn't learn until much later. And I really wish like every government, I think the first government make it mandatory that their kids learn about investment, learn about time preferences. This should be a mandatory book, by the way, for everyone, the Bitcoin standard. And I'm making a summary that's coming out on my financial channel. I already made a first episode. I decided, okay, well, it's better to make just one video per book. Such a good book. It talks about the concept. Stephanie Amos, the author, talking about the concept of time preference, which is how much are you living in the now and how much are you willing to invest for the future, right? And I think we got to do everything it takes to teach younger generation the value in lowering the time preference, basically in spending less now to invest in the future, so you can have a much more to spend in the future gracefully, right? In a really nice way. Like you're still gonna spend it, you just delay it a little bit.
This is hard for me to, and we have the best disposable income in the history of the world.
This is how crazy inflation is. The average salary in 1990 was $21,000.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? You imagine if someone told you had to live off $21,000 today? You'd be like, oh, fuck.
And yet, even still, they could retire multimillionaires.
True. And that's, by the way, $21,000 is about like, it's actually a good income in China, to be honest, at this point. The economy internally is actually not as good as I thought. Every time I went back to talk to people and they're just saying that they can't find jobs, the economy is hard. You can now hire an engineer that used to get paid 50K RMB a month. Now you can pay them like 10 or 12, and they're willing 12K, and they're willing to work for you. Like that's like what's actually happening. But the country is prospering, so that's good.
Even still, even with that, it's beautiful.
That is nuts if you know how to do it. But how would someone start doing something like that?
Honestly, low-cost index funds. I'm sure you got a money guy, but for the average American, there's these target date retirement funds. So Fidelity or whatever you want to use, they have essentially just pick like within the 5 years that you think you're going to retire, you just buy into that, and it balances it for you. It goes more aggressive now and just more conservative by the time you retire. It's so easy. There's no reason most people like aren't doing it, even in their 401k where it's free money matches and everything. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, 401k is so insane. Like how much money you invest, everyone should max that out. Like if you are working in corporate, everyone should max it out. Like max out your 401k contribution if your company matches it.
So do you have to teach yourself all this stuff?
And try to get Roth 401k too, right? Like don't get regular 401k. So, because if you defer taxes, you're going to pay shitloads of taxes when you retire. What you want to do is not defer it. Like pay it now. Like use your current earning, which is much lower, and it's safe. And so when you put in the 401k, it's already tax-free once you get out of it, once you want to get it out. And that's a large sum of money, right? So when you retire, especially with compounding. But if you don't pay taxes now, you're going to be paying taxes when you actually capitalize on it, monetize it, get it out, and that's using your income then. Think about how much money you're going to make now compared to how much money you're going to make in the future. You're going to pay an insane amount of money in taxes if you don't do Roth.
I mean, I'll be honest, pretty much any personal finance book or just like not even a class, just watch like a couple YouTubers, the dry YouTubers that maybe no one's watching. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you'll get it like this. It's super simple, that kind of stuff. It gets a little harder if you're thinking like, what kind of perfect insurances do I need? You know, if you're trying to individually stock trade. You know what scares me though? People in our position right now, people under 30, 60% of them are doing their portfolio trades based on the podcasters they're listening to. That's what's scary to me.
What? Really?
Yeah, 60%.
Which podcasts are giving them advice?
No, any personal finance. Any personal finance. No, even on like Kick or Twitch, there's streamers. Mm-hmm. I'll log on in the morning, just see who's streaming, and some of the top viewed people are day traders.
Really?
By the way, this is actually so true. You go on, by the way, go on internet and you see a lot of, especially crypto world, right? A lot of people are teaching you how to trade meme coin. It's all, I wouldn't say it's all scams, but it's mostly scams, right? They said 85% of professional active day traders underperform S&P 500 over the long term. There's no, like, you see some, like, the thing is, like, people get riled up, excited when they hear a crazy story of somebody making so much money with a single trade, but over time they will lose them all, and they'll underperform if you just put the money SP 500 and don't worry about it, and never had any of this stress. Single day trade is probably the most stressful work you can have, because you can lose everything and gain everything and lose everything again, and probably lose more. You know, like I had a friend who was doing option trades, and he made 100K in one day and lost 100K the next, and he cried, right? So you don't, like, it's obviously, and we only hear about a making 100K story. You don't hear about a losing 100K side of the story. It's just not worth it. You know, if I would give advice to any gamer, young folks, it's just low cost index fund, dollar cost averaging into low cost index fund.
With like 25,000 concurrent viewers that are getting hundreds of thousands of views a day.
Okay, so the kick streamers that are doing finance, are they just essentially like letting people know what they're trading and what to trade?
Exactly. It's crazy.
Oh,
so
so
they're
you
following
could
along.
basically just mirror them. So you could say, okay, buy BlackRock, whoa, and you could whatever you want to buy, whatever they're doing, you'll do.
By the way, it's such a privilege, though, to be in America. Like, I think if you're born in America, it's such a privilege. Like, compared to kids who are born in China, they don't even have this option. Day trade is not an option. It is an option, but you will for sure lose money. Like, there is a phrase in Chinese, basically talking about casual traders, like 散户, right? They get washed. My father is one of them. He basically doing what this guy was saying, listen to the podcasters on how to invest. And he invested, like, he made shitloads of money when he was younger. Like, when I was in middle school, a lot of money. That's why he's able to afford, and my mom too, able to afford me to come to America. And what happened was, both of them lost majority of their money that they made, like, just by listening to the podcasters, and to do day trade. And once you're locked in, you're locked in. Your money become nothing on paper, and then you can't even get out of it. And the moment you get out of it, you lost them all, right? So that's basically what happened to my dad. I remember, like, there's one day he said, oh, I made like 70,000 RMB, which is $10,000 at the time. And he came to my school when I was where I was studying in high school, and he was all excited, you know, because he made so much money. And then he lost it all. So day trade is not for, just think about, just have some humility in a way, right? If there are people who are doing it professionally and 85% of them underperform S&P 500, why are you thinking you're so smart, you're going to outperform all of them, like, collectively? It's just not worth the risk. There's no reason for that. It's much better and by the way, a lot of the hooks work this way too. They will, especially those scams, they will make you make money on paper. So you think you actually made money. And then that's the hook to get you invest a lot more in, and then boom, you're just a big fish that got fried.
Like, sort of like the Pelosi stock trader.
Yes, which
That's
I
a good
bought
one.
into the Pelosi fund.
Yeah?
It's doing really well.
I bet it is.
Yeah, I only put $1,000 in there. I was a little scared, but it's doing really well. It's beating my own money, guys. So, I mean,
It's kind of hilarious.
she knows what she's doing, or people knows what she's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone knows something. Yeah, they know something. It's crazy that it's legal. It's
Yeah.
crazy that you could know, oh, we're going to do this big deal with AI chips. And so NVIDIA makes AI chips. I'm just going to buy a shit ton of
Yes.
NVIDIA stock.
I think they should ban single stock trade from Congress. Just any people who in public service just cannot do it. You get paid a really good salary, tax-free, because you get paid with taxpayer dollars, right? That's literally your salary, come from every single one of our pocket. And they should just be banned because they're already participating in the American economy. They dictate the American economy, and they can make money out of it, which is insane to me. They should, however, though, participate in like low cost index fund. I think the politicians can buy index fund, can buy a fund for the that combines the American economy, S&P 500, a NASDAQ. They can buy those, but they shouldn't be allowed. It should be legal for them to do like single stock trade. It should be illegal. And if they leak the information and it was found out, they should go to jail permanently and never coming out, right? That's basically treason. That's basically treason. You're basically defrauding, like, because you think it's an advantage, you know, like for my kids and all that. No, it's literally treason because it's not fair. Other people don't have the access. They voted in to serve the country, not to defraud it. So, like, and I really also think, like, if you don't have money, if you haven't found success in your own personal life, you shouldn't be in public office. They should only find people who serve in public office. The criteria should be like anyone who try to elect to be a public office officials. The criteria should be they have already made it in life financially, you know. And we can discuss what that baseline is. but they should be already successful financially. So they understand the value of money. They made money in their own life. They understand the struggle of middle class, normal people. And then they have some sympathy going to the office.
And then boom, we pass this thing. Hey, look at that, 500% increase. Whee!
I think my thousand's up like 20 or 30% in just a couple months. It's crazy. It's crazy. S&P 500, what he searched up, averages 10% a year. So it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like it is what it is, right? It is Nancy Pelosi, the person that you guys keep on voting for. I don't know how she stays in office. Like, I look at her, I was like, yo, she just looks weird. And why are they see it like from an outsider perspective, looking at American politics? Why are only old people in politics? I don't get it. You look at like any other country, you know, it's not. They don't look that old. Like looking at America, like politicians, only old people. JD Vance is probably the youngest in there. Like who's Marco Rubio is probably one of the youngest, not the youngest in there. I'm not so sure. Only old people are in there. How are they dictating the direction of the country right now? Like, bro, there should be term limits. 2 terms, you're out. So there's chances for other people to come in. There are chances for younger folks who understand the current society to who are knowledgeable and also eligible, right? To then give the Congress a fresh update. That's what I think. But what's your thoughts, guys? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. With that, signing off. We'll see you guys next time.